Hi there, it's Denise Eckert from the Relaxation Lounge, and I love bringing people on here to help you deal with stress. And today I've got someone very unique. It's Sabrina Osso from Oso Safe, Feel Safe Where You Live, Work, and Play. She's a Tedx speaker and consultant on promoting safety and preventing violence in the workplace, schools, and in places of residence. So welcome, Sabrina.
Thank you so much for having me, Denise. This is so great.
Yes, it's a very different practice that you have. Can you tell us how you got into this?
Well, I've been in and out of therapy for a number of years, and I'm comfortable enough to say that I am a survivor of violence. My father beat my mother on a regular basis, and my mother would beat me. So it was about turning pain into power, if you will. And actually, Oso Safe started out as a one-woman show. I am a performer, I'm a dancer, and I play, the title of the show is Home Sweet Home, ? And I play different women being abused. She goes to her good place, that's where the dancing comes in, but then she's pulled back into the terror of violence. And I did a lot of, well, the show ends really strong, really empowering. And I did a lot of research for the show, and I could not believe the statistics that I was finding. I just was blown away how common it is, unfortunately. So I said to myself, I need to turn this into a business with bona fide products and services. And that's how Oso Safe was born, really, from this one-woman show.
Wonderful. Now, living in a situation where you are dealing with violence can be extremely stressful. Now, you mentioned some statistics. Do you have those statistics here handy?
Yes, 1 out of 3 women will be beaten or raped in a lifetime. 1 out of 5 adolescent girls is abused by her boyfriend. 1 out of 3 young people will be in an abusive relationship. 15 million children witness violence in their own homes each and every year. 1 out of 7 men is abused. About 324,000 pregnant women go into the emergency room, not for pregnant-related issues, but for abuse-related injuries. About 30,000 sexual assaults happen on college campuses per year, and only a fifth of them are reported. 80% of all spouse murderers are male. 85% of all runaways come from violent homes. So those are just some of the statistics that I like to give people to just really be an eye-opener.
And Sabrina, what can we do to change this and make this a healthier and safer world that we live in?
I would like to say that what we're doing, what we are introducing into the market, into the real estate market, I think it's very avant-garde, very progressive. I can mention it now or later in the interview, but it's products and services combining education and technology to promote safety and prevent violence in the workplace, schools, but in particular in your place of residence. So I think that this will really catch on, and it's making residency safe. So, but just to give some tips, number 1, do not give any pornographic material to our sons, our grandsons, our nephews, our boys and girls, if you will. Do not expose them to pornography. Pornography is a huge driver of violence. It's 88.2% physical aggression towards women. So if I could give any tip that people could really start to have good relationships, whether it be friendships, whether it be with a boyfriend, a girlfriend, your husband, your ex, your children. Pornography is a big driver, and we're not talking about sexual freedom. Pornography is actually the opposite of sexual freedom. So that would be point number 1. Point number 2, we really have to keep on the forefront of our minds, Denise, that we deserve to be in a good relationship. We have to say that over and over to ourselves. What constitutes a good relationship? The number 1 ingredient to a good relationship, I find is respect. We have to respect one another. So you can disagree, you can have conflict, you can argue, but on as a basis, as a fundamental grounding, there has to be respect. So no name calling, no calling each other, you're a slut, you're a whore, you're a brat, you're a monster, you're a bitch. All of that is verbal abuse. There should be no physical abuse. There should be no sexual abuse. So respect, freedom of choice, empowerment, encouragement, positivity. These are all ingredients for a good, healthy relationship, whether it be with our children, whether it be with our spouse, whether it be in friendships, whether it be with ourselves. So I hope I answered the question.
Now, what are the warning signs of a bad relationship? Because a lot of times we bring in the same relationships over and over again. So for the listeners here, what are the signs that we tend to miss out or ignore?
Yes, very good question. Pornography is actually a warning sign. If you are dating someone, if you are in a relationship with someone and they are very much focused on pornography, that's a warning sign. If you trace back all of the sexual assaulters and they look back to their history, pornography is a big attribute of what they look at on social media, on magazines, the internet, what have you. So that's a warning sign. Another warning sign is that, let's say you were outgoing and you dressed a certain way, and now your partner is saying, you know what, why don't wear skirts anymore, don't wear dresses anymore, it makes me very jealous, wear pants, you should be covered, and you were outgoing, so he or she tends to isolate you now. I want you all to myself. These are all warning signs that they want to isolate you, and isolation leads to control. So these are red flags. Another red flag is if your partner or someone that you're dating, they tell you already that they love you, and it's just you've been only going out with them a few days, a few weeks. That's a bit of a warning sign. But if it makes you feel good, then that's fine. But if it makes you feel a little bit like, wow, this is so fast, they're kind of roping you in. Another warning sign is control of money. That's another big one. So if they're trying to get on your account, if they're trying to, I would say even not letting you pay, like always paying, it's kind of a warning sign. It's fine to pay for both of you when you go out to dinner, but if it's all the time, and then there's other factors that I mentioned where they're controlling your dress, they're controlling they want to know what is going on with your finances, they don't allow you to go see your family and friends that you've known your whole life, and then the money aspect. So these are all warning signs. I hope I answered the question. Even in the workplace, another warning sign: if someone comes in with dark sunglasses and like long sleeves, and yes, it could be that they're guarding the sun, or it's very warm outside, so they wear long sleeves and it's air conditioned, it gets too cold. But chances are they could be hiding a black eye. They could be hiding cuts, bruises on their arms, and what have you. Yeah, I hope I answered the question.
Yes, you did. Now, if this is someone that's listening to this and you recognize that you are in an abusive or a violent situation, what do you recommend that person to do?
I would hope that they consider going into therapy in any capacity, whether it be online, whether it be in person, whether it be via email. There's so many, thanks to COVID, and I know that sounds weird, but to shed a light on something positive that COVID did is mental health. how now it's like a part of our discussion now, which I think is great. It's not so taboo. So mental health is very important. Having a therapist is, I feel, a therapist will help you open your eyes and really get you to see like, wow, I'm in a bad relationship, and that way you don't have to go it alone. Document the abuse as much as possible, as often as possible. Dates, what happened, what days, um, and to know that what we are offering is something called the Oso Safe certification for properties, Oso Safe, the Oso Safe Home Sweet Home package. And I want to say to your listeners, get us into your properties. This will get, whether it be, whether you're renting, whether you own, whether you have a mortgage or not, this will take away the responsibility of safety from you, the victim, and puts it, the responsibility, to the landlord, to the other tenants, to the other residents, to property managers. So that way you don't have to go it alone. And this will make safety a required standard condition of residency. And I want to say to any victim listeners, know that it's not your fault. You're not alone. We will see to it that things will get better. We're working as fast as we can. And to reach out to anyone that is willing to listen to you. And if they tell you, look, I don't want to hear about this, he's a good guy or she's a good woman, I don't believe you, then go to the next person to say it to. Don't give up. The therapists, I want to say, not all therapists are created equal. So if you find a therapist and it's not a good fit, maybe they upset you, or maybe you see that, I really didn't feel good after that session, don't give up on therapy. Try another therapist. They're not all created equal, and you may have to try on a few for size until you find the right one. So so I hope I answered the question as far as what to do.
And the only thing is, I want to say that if you are in immediate danger, please call the authorities in your area. Now, I'm interested in your products. I mean, what exactly are your products?
We focus on 3 markets: properties, schools/universities, and workplaces. But our core product is in real estate, in properties. So, and we want this to propagate over all residency, whether you rent, own, whether you have a mortgage or not, as I stated before. But right now we're focusing on the landlord tenant portion of the industry. And we're saying, look, Mr. and Miss Landlord, hire us, we'll get your property Oso Safe certified. What does that mean? That means that they purchase the Home Sweet Home package. It consists of a policy, a seminar, an app, and therapists assigned to the property. So just to give a brief description of each, the policy basically states, I, as a landlord, I promise to provide you a safe space for you to live. You, in turn, as my tenant, you promise to not act in any way, shape, or form abusively. Otherwise, you, the abuser only, gets immediately evicted from the premises. And we go into full knowledge knowing that that would be the consequences. And the rest of the family can stay, provided that they could still pay the rent or the mortgage. That's the policy. The seminar, we educate everybody. This is the Home Sweet Home seminar. We educate both new and existing tenants. We educate adults and children on facts, statistics, warning signs, definitions of abuse, the difference between abuse and discipline. So that way everybody's on the same page and everybody knows, oh, I didn't know that pulling her hair or pushing him constitutes abuse. Now you know, it's a part of residency. Then there is an app. It's the Oso Safe Mobile App. And right now it's being updated, but this will detect violent-like movements and captures them in real time, issuing alerts to, let's say, the landlord. So let's say a landlord has 10 units. They get an alert. Wow, I just saw you beat the crap out of her in my unit 2, and you just beat the crap out of him in my unit 10. Well, this is grounds for eviction. So, so this is an app that will detect the violence, and it uses artificial intelligence and facial recognition to do that. Then the fourth and final component is therapists assigned to the property. It's now a part of your residency. You are required in an Oso Safe certified property to check in with your therapist once a month. Is everything okay? Do you feel like anything is looming? Well, actually, Mr. and Miss Therapist, our daughter, our son came home with bad grades. We got upset, but we know we're held to a higher regard, a higher standard in an Oso Safe certified property. Help us through this. We're not going to verbally or physically abuse our kid, but help us through this. So all of these components put together, it's preventative versus waiting for an episode of violence to occur and then police come, bad news travels fast. Did you hear what happened in Unit 2A? Oh my gosh, I heard that they have a gun. I hear yelling and screaming, and the kids are always crying. So all of this is preventative. And also, right now, the way residency is that you, as a property owner, you're stuck with the abusive family. And then all of your non-violent tenants leave, right? Because they don't want to hear the cops anymore and the yelling and the screaming. In an Oso Safe certified property, we flip all of that. Your abuser is made to leave, and everybody else gets to stay. You mitigate liability, you maintain property reputation, your vacancy rates will drop, and your tenants feel safe. Our logo gets put outside of the property, so that way any pedestrian or vehicle traffic, they're looking for a place. Wow, I know what that logo means. It means it's home violence conscious. They have mechanisms in place in case violence happens. I'd rather raise my children in an Oso Safe certified property versus one that isn't. So that's what the certifications are. That's what the Home Sweet Home package is in a nutshell.
That's amazing. Because that's the worst. I mean, I know for myself, I've had violent neighbors, and you can just feel the stress level. I mean, I had a woman living out back, and it was just, you can just feel the tension, and it goes right inside you as well. And as you said, a lot of times people will move, and then who's going to move in? People the same. And that's great. So now, what is your success rate with your properties right now?
This is fairly new. I've been doing as many podcasts and interviews as possible just to get the word out and to let people know that we exist, that these that these products exist. So this is new, and we were hoping that this will really catch on, and that right now we're concentrating obviously local, in the tri-state area, but we want this to go national and then on a global level, because we feel that this will really have multiple applications for sure, especially the app. And the app is being updated right now, but we can definitely do the education, get the certification as far as the seminar, the education, the policy, everything else is pretty much ready. And the app is also being worked on just to get it more perfected, if you will, and improved upon. Yeah, I've been doing so many interviews and just marketing it as much as possible, because this is new. People are like, wow, we're so glad that you exist, that this is even an entity. Because quite frankly, Denise, we can't go on the way we have been. So many children are suffering, abused children. I was one of them. So, and I know for a fact, if I had this growing up, my own products, my father would not have gotten away with half the things he got away with, for sure.
And the problem is that you end up going into a cycle, because if it's happened to you, that's what you know, and then you start doing it, and then they start doing it, and we really do need to break that cycle. And I love how you're doing it as well. It's the education, it's creating that awareness, and having that, also the support behind you is very important.
Yes, I'm so glad you said that, and thank you for the positive feedback. Yes, and it's the way we see it at Oso Safe. It's how it should be. when you put that key in your lock, you shouldn't feel scared. You shouldn't be worried. Am I going to be verbally, physically, sexually assaulted from a member of my family? What am I going to do? I won't be able to concentrate at school. What am I going to do for work? You should feel safe. You're home, whether you live in a townhouse, a co-op, a condo, a single family home, a multifamily dwelling, a two-family home, a villa, a mansion, a mobile home. You should feel like it's your sanctuary. It shouldn't feel like a war zone, especially children. And I want to point out in our certifications, something that also is very new, but we feel that this is a very important component. Children have a say in their lives in an Oso Safe certified property. We do not wait until they are 18 years old for them to have agency over their lives. It's fine if you live in a good environment, but the abused kids, they suffer tremendously. As long as they are 5, 6 years old, they get to say who they want to live with in an Oso Safe certified property if mom and dad or stepmom and stepdad are abusive. So this is another great attribute to the certification, because when you wait until they are 18 years old, they will become a future victim and or a future abuser. Let's face it, they will start getting into drugs, alcohol, cutting, self-harming, getting into gangs, or suicide. They'll commit suicide. And why? Why? When you could resolve it way before with children. Children, I'm not saying, children, put them to work at 5, 6 years old. I'm not saying get them to drive at 5, 6 years old, but children know who makes them feel safe. They know who they could trust. They know who respects them. They know when they feel safe around the adults that they feel safe with. So we're talking about, let them go. If they name an aunt, an uncle, a grandparent that's willing to take them in, let that happen, because that way they'll be saved. And they will have the life that they should have versus a life of hell, and waiting until they're 18. So I just want to thank you for yes, I wanted to say that on your podcast, that it's an important component.
Wonderful. Okay, well, I will have all your contact information anywhere you watch this or anywhere you hear this. So if you have any questions, please reach out and ask Sabrina anything that you've got. And I think this is an amazing service that you're providing, and creating awareness is very important in this situation. Well, thank you so much for your time here today.
Thank you, Denise. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for listening. If you're looking for more ways to reduce the stress in your life, please visit www.therelaxationlounge.info. Here I've got access to a free Facebook page where you can get support, information on the podcast where I interview different individuals who share their techniques to help you reduce your stress, plus a membership that you can join where you can come and do stress-reducing practice on demand anytime you need to reduce the stress in your life and create more happiness in your world. I'll see you in the lounge.